Go ahead, guys. Cue your questions up with the raise the hand when you got them. Robbie, go ahead.
Coach, it's been kind of a wild month or so for you and the girls and your staff. How did it feel to get this first win under your belt?
I felt like every other win that I've ever had in my career, to be honest with you. It's just one game. I felt great about our win in practice yesterday. I felt great about our win in our game day practice. The hump is an amazing place to play, and I know it's just getting started. And what's been done here is a pretty cool thing. I am very humbled to be a part of it right now. I'm not trying to downplay the winning part of it, because that's what we're out here for, and we all want that. But we're fighting for so much more right now in terms of how we're going to play, the identity, and we've shown like just bits and pieces of it, and we just need to keep it going a little bit longer, as we face some tougher teams. But it's very rewarding. But when you're in the middle of everything, and right now I just feel like we're in the middle. I feel like I've been here for 20 years with this team, in terms of how much we've gone through and how much we're working on developing as a team. That I don't feel new. This doesn't feel like a new environment. It just feels like we got a job to do.
All right, Stefan, go ahead.
I know we talked a lot about Rakia and kind of what she brings to this team, but behind her the last couple games with that exhibition, Anastasia Hayes has kind of stepped up in that number 2 scorer for you guys. What have you kind of seen from her as a transfer to be able to come in so quick and make this type of impact?
Yeah, and I know Rakia gets a lot of attention, and she should. And like I've said before, she's such a good player that she commands, a defender and a half at all times. It's just, to be honest with you, we're not running anything for Rakia right now. It's just the game of basketball and what's appearing. And we'll put her in some alignments where it's really hard. If you're not going to help off of her, one of our guards is going to score a layup. But there are multiple scorers out there, and there are multiple passers. And when we're at our best, that ball is humming around, and Rakia might get it on a first side, and then she's going to get it on a third side, and she's going to be wide open, and she's going to be able to make the play for herself or someone else. So it's not, again, it's the best players, the best scorers are going to get the most shots. That's just the way it is, and that's the way most good teams are. But, I've said this before, if we just say we're going to isolate Rakia against the league or against good teams, like, she's not going to have any fun, and we're not going to have any fun. And it's going to be hard for her to make someone else better. And that's what she does. She can score it, but she also can make someone else better. And then you throw in an Annie with her. Well, she's doing the same thing. And she made, some unbelievable plays in transition, kicking out to 3 for Jerkala in the corner. She's a big time scorer. She could have taken the shot, but she passed it. And so that's what we're fostering here. And we know our roles, and we know who can do what, and we're trying to play to those strengths.
All right, Tanner, go ahead.
Coach, you talked to us Monday about wanting to use a smaller lineup, kind of get out in transition. 23 fast break points tonight. Obviously, that was accomplished. Just how good was it to see that in the first game out as a head coach?
Yeah, that feels good, because, that's what we want to do, and that's part of our identity. But part of it too is winning that possession game. And so we kept it about even with the rebounding. Like, we might have lost that one a little bit. And some of that we started leaking out. So we're trying to seek those fast break points too much, and we didn't secure the ball. But the other part is that we're going to play fast, and we can take care of the ball. So 18 assists and 6 turnovers. That's a big deal, because now we're winning a possession game. That allows us to miss a few threes. That allows us to get more shots on the rim than the opponent.
All right, Andy, go ahead.
Hey, Doug, obviously Jasmine Shavers entered the transfer portal. What does that kind of do for the depth in the backcourt? It looks like you still got a lot of options between everyone you have out there, but what does it kind of do?
Yeah, that's, I'm sad, because I really like Jasmine, and it was, she had a fun smile, a nice smile every time she came to practice. She just felt it was in her best interest to to maybe transfer somewhere else. But in terms of depth, it's, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of people that could have been here, should have been here, all those things. I don't really focus on it at all. And as a team, we don't either. It was just who we have. And hopefully who we have is changing daily because of how we're developing and how they're growing as people and how they're growing as players. So yeah, it's sad because I do like her, but at the same time, it's, our focus is on the people that are on that floor.
All right, Robbie, go ahead.
Coach, I know from an execution standpoint that it might be hit or miss, as you get your system implemented and you start to work with the players and a lot of things. But I know with effort, anybody can give effort at any point in time. Did you feel like your players were really good in that regard in game one?
I thought they were pretty good. And I thought in spurts, it was fantastic. You could tell the defensive intensity. And when we started the game, I thought we were a little bit hesitant. I thought we were reacting to what they were doing. We were kind of guessing. And whenever you're in a reacting mode, you're not going to move as fast. And then we started dictating how we're guarding the ball. We started putting our hand on the ball. We started disrupting their vision and timing. And I think we held them to maybe 8 points in that second quarter, something like that. But anyway, we stopped reacting. And then there was just a tiny stretch where we started looking at the scoreboard and not really focusing on our standard of play and how we want to execute and all that. And, I hate to say it, that is normal. I don't want that to be normal for us. We're up 20, we're down 20. It doesn't matter. I mean, we want to be so tough that regardless of the score, how we play this game matters.
All right, Joe, you're up.
Doug, the other day on Monday, you were talking about you wanted it to be like going to the dentist for opponents to play Mississippi State. Is it fair to say at points in time in this game, you kind of felt like you were close to the roadmap of what you want this team to be? And I know that probably for the full 4 quarters, you wouldn't say that, but were there points in this game where you were like, yes, that's our roadmap. That's who I want us to be this year?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's some things over the past week, and none of the fans would notice this, but there are little things that we're working on how to make a pass across the floor, how to swing the ball from guard forward, and it barely touches your hands, and we got cutters coming off of things. And so there were glimpses of it. I really like Belichick with the Patriots, and he's got a thing that says, do your job. And then I add to it a little bit, do your job as long as you can. So it's not, we've never arrived. We don't have it. 3 most dangerous words. I got it. No, we don't. It's just do it over and over again. And so each day we're trying to do it longer. The stretches that we have. Yeah, I thought we were doing it hard to guard. We were just pests on defense. But how long can we do it? How long can we sustain it? Can we take a hit in the mouth? Like 52%, that's a little bit of a hit in the mouth, and they're knocking down some shots, and maybe we didn't have enough defensive pressure or blocking out or leaking out, and then we shored that up, and then we showed some toughness, and we did that for a fairly long time before we started looking at the scoreboard a little bit.
All right, Robbie, go ahead.
Coach, you got a team coming up that has been really good for a long time, been either in the NCAA tournament or on the verge every single year. What have you seen from South Dakota State so far, and what are you kind of expecting from them when they come here on Friday?
I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't seen a whole lot. I mean, we have a coach who's been scouting for the last week on them. I will look at them for the first time tonight, late into the night, and then tomorrow, and putting together a game plan. But I know of South Dakota State. They are a fantastic program. And again, I grew up in South Dakota, so I know what that means to them. I know what that means to the state. And they've had a lot of success coming into Minnesota and getting some of the really good players out of Minnesota, and the Fury programs and the Norfolk Tartan programs. And so I have a lot of respect for their program, what they've been able to do. And we take basketball serious at Mississippi State and the Hump. Well, they do too in a different way in their venue. It's pretty crazy there too.
All right, we got time for a couple more. We'll go to Andy, then finish with Tanner. Andy, go ahead.
Hey, Doug, we didn't see Mia Moore or Laisha Hayes. I think we didn't see them in the exhibition game either. Do you kind of have an update on what their status is and when they might be back in the fold?
No, that's just straight with the athletic trainer and the medical staff. And so that's day to day. That's all I've got for you on that one.
All right, go ahead and wrap us up, Tanner.
Coach, Maya mentioned this offense being a little more read heavy than what she's played in before. Is that something that you guys are looking to do more of going forward? And can you kind of go a little bit in depth on what she means by that?
Yeah, there's a lot of layers that we could put on to it, depending on what their skills are telling me or telling the coaching staff on a daily basis. But we can play out of scrambles. So, for instance, we'll play a lot of possessions. We'll put them all in one corner, and then we'll put the defenders all in the paint. I'll just throw the ball up, and it'll play out of that scramble. And so, just a couple concepts. How do we play when the ball's at the top and somebody's in the corner? How do we play when the ball's on the wing and we have an offensive player up top? So it's reading that defender. And if we have an advantage, we're going to get right to the rim. If we don't, we might bounce it out and get into another action without me calling it. So there are some things as we get better, because we do need, come crunch time, you've got to have a couple pet actions where you're going to get your best scores together. I've probably delayed that a little bit more than I have in the past, because I didn't want them looking over at me all the time for the answer. I wanted them to work on the solutions themselves. And I think we're getting better as we go in kind of teaching them what to see. There are times when you're trying to see everything, you see nothing. And when you look at very little, which would be the rim, you can see a lot. So we want wide motion, but we really have pretty narrow vision of where our gaps are or where the cutters may be. And so that's kind of how we do it conceptually: wide motion, narrow vision, as opposed to, a flex. A flex would be narrow motion, in actually narrow motion and narrow vision. Motion, offense, the old Bobby Knight stuff, screening all over the place. Wide motion, wide vision. And so you got to be a pocket passer and all that stuff. And the game's kind of changed from that. It is a little bit more up and down and more ball screens. And we can set ball screens if we want or not, depending on how you're going to defend it. So how's that for an answer?
Thank you so much.